In this video, we shall see how to solve right triangles. Let's say we have this right triangle, where this is angle A, this is angle B, and then this is angle C. And angle C is a right angle. And then we have been given that this side is equal to 10, and then angle A is equal to 35 degrees. How can we solve such a right triangle? First of all, let's label the sides. Across angle C, we have side C. So this is side C, and it is equal to 10. And then across angle A, we have side A. So this is side A. And across angle B, we have side B. So this is side B. And now what we need to do is find side A and B. To do that, we shall use this formula. So, ka, toa. For example, for so, S stands for sine, O stands for opposite, and then H stands for hypotenuse. If you want to find sine of A, this is the same as the sine of 35 degrees, because A equals to 35. And this will be equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So you use this formula. For this triangle, the opposite is the side opposite angle A. So side A is the opposite. And then the hypotenuse is the side across angle C. So this is the hypotenuse. And then the adjacent is the side across angle B. So side B is the adjacent. Therefore, the sine of 35 will be equal to the opposite, which is A, divided by the hypotenuse, which is C. Now what about the cosine of A? This is the same as the cosine of 35 degrees, and this will be equal to, now in this case we shall use this, where C stands for cosine, A stands for adjacent, and then H stands for hypotenuse. So this will be the adjacent, which is B, divided by the hypotenuse, which is C. And then the tangent of angle A, which is also the same as the tangent of 35 degrees, will be equal to, now in this case we shall use this. So we shall get the opposite and divide it by the adjacent. The opposite is side A divided by the adjacent, which is side B. And now that we have all the formulas, we can find side A and side B. For example, to find side B, we can use this formula. So we shall have the cosine of 35 degrees equaling to B divided by C, which is 10. And now we can cross multiply. And this will give us B equaling to 10 times the cosine of 35 degrees. Therefore, B will be equal to, now if you put this in the calculator, you will get 8.2. Make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. So side B is 8.2. Now how can we find side A? To find side A, we can use this. So we shall have the tangent of 35 degrees equaling to the opposite, which is side A, divided by the adjacent, which is side B. And we found side B to be equal to 8.2. So this will be tangent of 35 degrees equaling to A divided by 8.2. If you cross multiply, you will have A equaling to 8.2 times the tangent of 35 degrees. And so A will be equal to, if you put this in the calculator, you get 5.7. So side A is 5.7. Now if you want, you can also solve for A using the Pythagorean theorem. From Pythagorean theorem, A to the power of 2 plus B to the power of 2 should be equal to C to the power of 2. So we shall have A to the power of 2, which we are looking for, and then plus B, which is 8.2 to the power of 2, equaling to C, which is 10 to the power of 2. And so we shall have A to the power of 2, and then plus 8.2 to the power of 2 is 67.24, equaling to 100. And if we take this to the right hand side, it will become negative. So we shall have A to the power of 2 equaling to 100 minus 67.24. And so a to the power of 2 will be equal to 32.76. And at this point we can take the square root on both sides. This will cancel with the square root. And so we shall have a equaling to 5.7. So we get the same answer. Now that we have found a, b, and c, there is one thing left, and that is to find angle b. There is one thing you need to note. For a right triangle, the summation of angle a, angle b, and angle c should be equal to 180 degrees. Now in this case, we know angle a, which is 35 degrees. Now what about angle c? Angle c is a right angle, and it is always equal to 90 degrees. So we shall have 35 and then plus b, which we are looking for, and then plus c, which is 90, and this should be equal to 180. So this will be b plus 35 plus 90 is 125, equaling to 180. And therefore b will be equal to 180 minus 125. So b will be equal to 55 degrees. Therefore this is 55 degrees. Now let's look at another example. Let's say we have this right triangle where this is angle A, this is angle C, and then this is angle B. And they have given us side B to be equal to 8, and then side A to be equal to 6. And we don't know side C. So we need to find side C, angle A, and angle B. Now to solve this, the first thing we need to do is use the Pythagorean theorem. So we shall have a to the power of 2 plus b to the power of 2 equaling to c to the power of 2. We have a, which is 6 to the power of 2, and then plus b, which is 8. So we have 8 to the power of 2 equaling to c to the power of 2. Now 6 to the power of 2 is 36, and then 8 to the power of 2 is 64, equaling to c to the power of 2. And this will give us 100 equaling to c raised to the power of 2. And at this point we can take the square root on both sides. This will cancel with that. And so we shall have c equaling to the square root of 100, which is 10. So side c is equal to 10. And now the next thing we need to do is find angles A and B. Once again we shall use this formula. So katoa. For the sine of A we shall use this. So we shall have the sine of A equaling to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. Now in this case the opposite is the side opposite angle A. So side A is the opposite. And then the hypotenuse is the side across the right angle. Therefore side C is the hypotenuse. And then the adjacent is the side across angle B. So side B is the adjacent. Now notice that this changes based on the angle. For example, for angle B, the opposite would be this, side B. And then the hypotenuse doesn't change because it is the longest side. And then the adjacent would be this. So you have to pay attention to that. So if we use angle A, the sine of A will be equal to the opposite of angle A, which is A, divided by the hypotenuse, which is C. And so sine of A will be equal to A, which is 6, divided by C, which is 10. Therefore A will be equal to, now to solve for A, you take the sine inverse of 6 divided by 10. And if you put this in the calculator, you get A equaling to 36.9 degrees. Remember, your calculator should be in degree mode. So this is 36.9 degrees. Now let's find angle B. Once again we shall use this formula. A plus B and then plus C should be equal to 180 degrees. And if you remember, we said that angle C is a right angle and it is always equal to 90 degrees. So we shall have A, which is 36.9, and then plus B, which we are looking for, and then plus C, which is 90, equaling to 180. And so we shall have B plus Now 36.9 plus 90 will give us 126.9, and this is equal to 180. And so B will be equal to 180 minus 126.9. So B will be equal to, if you put this in the calculator, you'll get 53.1 degrees. Therefore, angle B is 53.1 degrees. So that's how you solve right triangles. If you have found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.